As many of you know, I recently moved to Italy about 5 months ago now. This video is geared towards people who may have an interest in moving overseas, and just wanted to give you an insight on my experience. Just to give you a little background, I was born in New York. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina for about 17 years. After that, I graduated college and I moved immediately to Miami, Florida. I moved to Miami because I wanted to get away from where I had grown up for so long. I wanted something new, I wanted change. So I basically packed up my bags and just moved to Miami. I lived there for 4 years. Immediately after leaving Miami, I came to Rome, Italy. So yes, it has been quite an adjustment because my last 3 cities are completely different. And just to give you an idea of my childhood, we only lived as a family in 2 states. I was not a military brat. I don't have an international background. Yes, I look like this because my parents are from El Salvador, so I'm Salvadorian American. I speak fluent Spanish, I speak fluent English. I grew up in a bilingual household. We took a trip here last year, and when I say we, I'm talking about my boyfriend Jared and I. We came to Italy last year for a vacation, and neither of us had really traveled outside the country. Like, he's been to Jamaica and I've been to El Salvador, but only those 2 places. So we have never been to Europe before. Last summer was our first time in Europe. Like, we went to 4 different cities. So we spent a day and a half in each city. Like, if you've ever been to Rome and you know how much there's to do here, like, can you imagine doing almost everything in a day and a half? Like, it was really exhausting. But at the same time, I felt like I couldn't stop thinking about it after we left. Of course, vacation is always better somewhere than living there. That's how it was when I lived in Miami. Like, my vacations were always so much fun there. When you start living there, it's completely different. I understand that. Like, I know how that is. There's a number of things that I can tell you about it here. Like, you know, we just love the language, the Italian language, the food, you know. Yeah, I can go on all day about why we love Italy and why we decided to come here. So that was in June of 2015 that we went for the first time. The most common question I get is, what do you do for work? Well, thank God Jared and I both work, or else I don't know how we would do it. So in my situation, I lucked out a little bit because the employer that I was working with back in Florida wanted me to continue working for her from here in Italy. So what I'm doing is I'm working remotely. So basically what that means is, as long as I have my laptop and my Wi-Fi accessible and working, I can work from anywhere I want. So I have a lot of flexibility, and I, you know, kind of create my own hours depending on how much work I have. But I just feel super, super lucky and blessed to be able to do that from here. And not only am I continuing working, but I'm enjoying the lifestyle of Europe without having to deal with the government. But for someone who doesn't have that opportunity to work remotely, I would recommend checking out 2 other options that are very popular in countries abroad that are in high demand always. First option is English teaching. English teaching is always in demand. Everyone wants to learn English. If you are a mother tongue English speaker, I would highly encourage you to take advantage of this. Companies are always seeking mother tongue English speakers. I would definitely recommend to check it out. I actually got my TEFL certificate as a backup before I left to come here. So I think I got it from TEFL.org. I'm gonna link the website down below so you can check it out. It costs a couple $100. I think it was a 120-hour course online. You can do the course online or you can do it in person. I personally did it online, and I wanted to do something on my own time and on my own flexibility. So I was able to take the course over a period of like 2 months, I think, but you can get it done faster if you work more hours on it every day. It's not difficult at all. It's very easy, and they often have sales on their TEFL packages, so I would definitely recommend for you to check that out. And the great thing about having a TEFL certificate is that that gives you an extra boost on your resume. I don't know if most or all schools look for that, but it definitely gives you a higher advantage than someone who doesn't have a TEFL certificate. So if you would like to look into that, I know English teaching is not for everyone, but it may be something fun to do while living in another country. So I would definitely recommend to check that out. Another job is being an au pair, but you're kind of their carekeeper. I think it goes more than just being a babysitter, because most of the time you're going to be living with the family. So I know there's several different websites that you can check out for that. I will link a couple of them below so you can check that out, but those are the two most common jobs that foreigners do in a new country. Of course, other people are doing freelance work as well. The English teaching and the au pair are jobs that you can pretty much do anywhere. So if you're looking to how to support yourself financially, I would definitely recommend those two options. How do you find a place to live? So you definitely want to do your research depending on what area you want to move to. Go on Facebook, join groups, ask forums, try to talk to people who have been in that situation or who are living in that area and try to get some feedback from them. There are several websites that you can go to look at places to live and how much rent is. So a couple of them, sabbaticalhomes.com. Now these are longer term rentals for someone who wants to stay 6 months to a year or longer. That's why it's called sabbatical homes. And they tend to be a little bit more expensive, but I know several people who have gotten their homes from this website, so this could be a good option to look at as well. Another one that people may overlook and may not think about as long term is Airbnb.com. Everybody knows Airbnb. It's super popular and people use it all the time to go on vacation for like 2 to 3 day rentals, but you can actually use it for like months at a time. So make sure to check that out as well, because Airbnb has a lot of great deals, and you can even contact the host to ask them about the area they live in and maybe get some insight about what there's to do there, how the crowd is, etc., etc. And along the line is Airbnb, you also have HomeAway.com. I have never personally used HomeAway, but I know it's similar to Airbnb. I know people who have used it, so I think that would be a good site as well to check out. Like I mentioned to you in the beginning of the video, I speak fluent Spanish. That has helped me to kind of understand the Italian language. If you're familiar with the Latin-based languages, you know that they have similar root words, or they're derived from similar root words. So a lot of the words sound similar, but at the same time, it is very different. My Italian was very minimal when I got here. It was very basic. I didn't have a lot of practice in Italian. I was just doing Duolingo on my phone and Rosetta Stone, but you know that that's not enough to learn a language. You actually have to speak it. So when I'm out at restaurants, when I'm out at the store, what have you, I'm always trying to speak my Italian, because that's the only way you're going to improve is by practicing. Yes, my Italian is a little bit better now. I think I'm definitely progressing. I'm looking into taking Italian classes here in Rome. My camera just died, but let's not worry about that. I think I'm better at writing it and listening to it than I am speaking it, but that's something I'm working on, so there'll be an update soon on that. Sure, so the culture here is, obviously it's very different. People in Rome aren't generally the nicest people, especially if you're going to like a restaurant or business or something. They're not going to be super catering to you. So that's that. I can't do anything about that. But luckily enough, I'm not having to deal with like the outside world so much, just because I'm working remotely. I think if I worked for an Italian company, or if I worked in some kind of business outside of just my house, and of course it would be different. I would feel more like a local, because I'm having to deal with the Italian government, and I know there's strikes here every couple of weeks, so that gets kind of annoying. And a strike is basically when the transportation in Italy shuts down and only 20% of the buses are running, the metro doesn't run, so that excludes a lot of transportation and makes it really hard to get places that day. Since I don't have a car anymore, I rely heavily on public transportation. You're basically starting over. We came here really not knowing anything, so we don't have any family or friends here. The way that I build a community is by joining groups or joining organizations that I find on Facebook or Instagram. Social media is huge for me to be able to connect with people online and maybe meet them in person. So a group that has really helped me in meeting new people here in Rome is expats living in Rome. And I've been going to meetings on Tuesdays pretty frequently, and that has helped me meet a lot of new people from literally all over the world. So not only English speaking people, for even Italians are there, and they're really welcoming and wanting to learn English. So that's a good opportunity for them to speak English and practice their English. A couple of tips for those who are thinking about moving overseas or even moving to a new city or state. You're still, we're still experiencing the same things. We're experiencing a different culture, maybe a different language if one place is more diverse than the other. And you're experiencing starting over basically because you don't have a community there. So especially once we get older, it gets harder to make friends. So just a couple of tips for someone who may be thinking about moving overseas. This is what I would suggest. One, don't think too much about it. For me, coming here is not something that's helping me professionally or work-wise. I came here to experience life, and just this is something more of a personal change that I have made. It's not anything that I think will move me up the corporate ladder. I wanted to live a life that was meaningful to me, and I knew if I didn't do this, then I would regret it later down in life. And it's just been really a great experience so far. Like every day I wake up and I'm just like, wow, like am I really here? I don't think it has really hit me just yet because it's just like a once in a lifetime experience. And I would recommend anyone that can study abroad, make the arrangements, do your research, and everything else will fall together eventually. It may seem at the beginning like things don't make sense, but it will, and I'm telling you this from experience. The second tip that I would give anyone is tune out outside voices. When I told people that I was coming here, a lot of them were very supportive. Like I only told the close friends in my life that I was coming here. If you are truly passionate about going somewhere or doing something, then don't always feel like you need to take advice from others. And the third tip, be very open-minded, very optimistic. If you see everything in a positive light, even when things are not gonna go your way, because trust me, they are not gonna go your way, then you're just gonna enjoy life so much more if you see the positive and negative situations. This is with all situations in life. I knew that there was going to be things living here that I didn't like, and they're very minimal, but it doesn't change my mind about me being here. I still want to be here. I still want to enjoy everything that this country has to offer me. And you just have to be kind of open to a lot of new things. You have to be able to adapt very quickly, be able to make new friends, meet new people on a constant basis. But I am so thankful that I'm able to be here with my best friend and my boyfriend. I honestly don't know if I could come here by myself. Like I give credit to everyone that's here by themselves because I know so many people, especially girls, that come here to Italy or to other countries in Europe, and they come by themselves, and that's so courageous to me. Like it must take so much to do that, especially because people often want to take advantage of women. I would like to think I would be that brave, but it's completely different. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I know this may have been a little longer, but I felt like I wanted to get a little more personal with you guys and let you know what's really going on behind the scenes, and hope that I answered most of your questions. But if you do have any more questions, please be sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to make maybe a part 2 video if you're interested. But I realized that I'm in such a unique situation right now. It's not very often that your friend is like, hey, I'm moving to Italy. So I want to do more expat videos for those who live in another country and maybe can relate to what I'm saying. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.